Welcome to Conference Reviews with Dag Calafell. Today we're covering the AI Agent and Copilot Summit of 2025 at the Hilton in San Diego. One bite, everyone knows the rule. I'll be rating the conference on several aspects. The first is food, and I have to say that has to be a 4 out of 5. The food had a lot of good variety. There was always a vegetarian option if that's your thing. The taste was on point. The churros and the baklava were my favorite. It wasn't something gourmet, but it certainly also wasn't something that kind of made you think, oh yes, this is conference food. So definitely give this one a 4 out of 5 or a 5 out of 5. The venue was Hilton La Jolla Torrey Pines in San Diego. It was very nice. It had golf course, which I heard was great. The rooms were relatively up to date. It's only 30 minutes away from the airport, so that was also a good selling point. And the views were spectacular. The weather was great. It wasn't like some conference centers where you really have to walk a long ways to get to places. Generally, it was pretty good. There was one section, though, where there was some fairway rooms that were far away from the Scripps rooms, and I'll show you that video. So overall, I'd give it a 4 out of 5 also. As far as the city, San Diego's a great place. There are great places to go out after dinner or for dinner or for drinks or whatever you'd like to do. I had a lot of friends who were staying either before or after the event just to have some time in San Diego. As far as the choice of venue, I do wish that maybe it was more centrally located in the United States or on the East Coast as opposed to the West Coast. And I say that because a lot of the users that attended the sessions, I felt like were more West Coast who could maybe drive there or, didn't have a long flight. For me, my flight was from Houston to San Diego direct. That wasn't too bad, but on the way back, I had to take a connection. So it seemed to take like a half day or a little bit more to get home. And there were a few attendees even from Europe. So for them, the travel time there was quite long. So I think that, should they choose a venue that is more centrally located, you may get some more variety in the number of people who attend and who attend. And let's talk about swag, because everyone wants to see swag. As far as this conference goes, you had your typical pens, you had your candies, your stress balls. There was really nothing game-changing, no Wheels of Fortune or dunk tanks or anything crazy like that, but certainly not slacking either. You could always get a piece of candy for your sweet tooth if you wanted to. So I'll give this one a 3 out of 5. As far as the content, initially I was a little bit concerned because to have 3 full days specific to agents and Copilot Studio, for me, it seemed like, hey, that we could run out of content. Maybe there wouldn't be enough to talk about. Now, in reality, it was pretty good, right? We got to learn about use cases. We learned more about, what is the difference between M365 agents and Copilot Studio and best practices with Copilot Studio. Copilot Studio Dude was there, right? Along with several other MVPs and people from Microsoft leadership. So there was a lot of good knowledge, I'd say, and expertise as well. At lunch, however, I did talk to someone who said that there was a session that was more like clickbait, if you will, where the title didn't live up to what the content was. And then as a speaker personally, I felt like my sponsored session, it wasn't very clear to the people who were attending. And I think that they were a little off-put when they heard me talk about the company I work for a little bit. But then I got to also give a second talk along with Drew Clark, who works at MCA Connect with me. And we were able to, focus on the technology and just say a little piece at the end, hey, we work here, come visit us. And we did get a lot of engagement on that, and a lot of people did come by. In fact, we had someone at our booth where we built an agent on the fly, right? And they went home with an agent, which was really cool. So as far as content goes, they had a couple of tracks like master classes and different learning tracks, I would say. So the learning tracks approach was a good approach. And I think that they should stick with that for next year. And now we come to the people and networking opportunities. And this also was a strength of the conference. We had good connections at our booth and, at lunch or at the mixing hours and at the breaks and at dinner. Everyone was willing to talk. Everyone was very collaborative and open. And I felt like, we were meeting real people and it wasn't stuffy. And that always makes for a great conference, right? When you can talk to people and learn what they've learned what works and what doesn't work, walking away with new experiences and ideas to try when you get home. I'm gonna give that a 5 out of 5. And then finally, as far as the organization and sort of the structure of the event, I've already covered a little bit on it, but when I signed in super fast, it was like a minute before I had my badge. Generally, the sponsor booths were probably a little bit small, but that also kind of made for a more intimate event. So I appreciated that. And there was a lot of conversations that we had that were impactful for me. And so for that reason, I think, the organization and the structure of the way it happened, I'm giving that a 4.5 out of 5. So anyway, stay tuned for more conference reviews with Dag. And the next conference that I'll be going to is the DynamicsCon conference in May in Chicago. So please look me up if you're headed there. Happy to connect. And if you did go to the AI Agent and Copilot Summit this year, let me know, what did you think about it? What did you get out of it? And or what maybe could have been a little bit better that we can let the conference organizers know about, given this is the first year of the event and they did a good job. Comment below and let me know your thoughts.